Hey everybody, so in this video we're going to be going through spinal biomechanics 101, basic things to understand when it comes to our posture. So we're going to be looking at a very simple walkthrough on some fundamentals when it comes to how our body is designed to carry body weight and resist against the constant of gravity. Shoulder placement, head placement. We're going to be looking a little bit of peeling away the skin, the soft tissue, and looking at the skeletal frame, so that we're kind of putting you in the driver's seat of what a chiropractor sees when they look at posture. So what we see when we look at posture is always from the outside, the indicators of like the shoulder or the head placement to the side. And if you aren't noticing these things, you probably will after watching this. So spinal biomechanics 101, let's go ahead and dive in and let's go through some of this chiropractic biophysics. Now, often when it comes to posture, a lot of times what we're thinking about is what we look like from the outside. So, your shoulders pulling back, your head being in an upright position, not slouching. But really what I want you to start thinking about and visualizing is beneath the surface, how does this affect everything else? So everything that we're going to be working on really is reverse engineered to improve your posture, but to improve spinal biomechanics more than anything. Because when it comes down to posture, 2 times every second, without you ever thinking about it, the balance center of your brain, which is at your cerebellum, it collects all of this neurological input from your feet, the nerve endings that you have on your feet called proprioceptive nerves, from each of your spinal joints between all of the bones in from your tailbone all the way up to the base of your skull. There's sensitive nerve endings in each of those spinal joints that are sending information nonstop to the balance center of your brain. And so basically that part of your brain 2 times every second is modifying where you're positioning your body overall in space. So how your head is sitting in relationship to your hips, how your shoulders are sitting in relationship to your head with maybe a head translation. And there's a thing called the default postural state, which basically means the go-to position that your body will always put you back to. That truly right there is your posture. It's your go-to position that your body's always going to default back to. Now, obviously, at any point in time, you can sit up nice and straight, you can fix your posture, but the moment you stop thinking about it, that's when, boom, that part, the cerebellum, is going to put you back to your default postural state. So the exercises in the program for the dynamic disc solution are all designed to actually work with the body's neurology to help you overcome that state and really over a longer period of time start reprogramming what that postural state looks like. Anyway, with that being said, looking at a little diagram here, what I want to show you is what is it supposed to look like for healthy spinal posture. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger here. So for a healthy spinal posture, in a normal alignment, our body wants for our head, which houses our brain, to be sitting directly above your tailbone. So in a perfect world, that's what our body's always trying to achieve. And the reason for this is because we have this enemy called gravity. And so gravity is never taking a day off. It's always compressing our spine in an axial load from top to bottom. And so as you can see in the diagram here, gravity is this center G line. And that center G line is showing you, obviously it goes completely straight down, but the reason why we need the curves in our spine, right here, the curvature in your neck, the curvature in your mid-back, and in your low back, is because it displaces all of the weight from your head, which is essentially a bowling ball that you're literally carrying around all day long, equally through each of the bones in your spine so that they're sharing the overall weight burden. So we want to share the weight burden between each of the bones in our spine so that no one particular disc, shock absorber between those bones, is taking on excessive weight load. And that, my friends, is the number one cause of why discs degenerate, dehydrate, lose water content, and compress over time. And eventually, obviously, with the compression over time and the consistent pressure, that's where you start having the herniation, disc bulges that are taking place. So what becomes very, very important really at the end of the day then is underlying biomechanics. So this is just a quick educational to show you the visual
because visualization is so important for us to understand conceptually why we do certain things. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I'm a visual person. And if I can't see it, it makes it very difficult for me to then grasp to why am I doing an exercise? Why am I doing a supportive? Why am I doing passive molding? So on and so forth. So this is what healthy spinal curvature should look like. A nice forward curve in the neck, backward curve in the mid back, forward curve in the low back. And then from the back view, spine should be straight going all the way down. And we can get into, physics and biomechanics all day long, but this is the fundamental basic of what we're looking for healthy spine. So if we were to go then, we start looking at, over this way, this is just another visual for you. And now we start bringing in the eyes into the equation. So your gravity is compressing straight down through your spine and then your hips. All of this comes into play when it comes to postural biomechanics, because as the song goes, the hand bone connects to the wrist bone connects to the elbow bone connects to the arm bone connects to the shoulder bone. Obviously, everything's interconnected. So for the skeletal structure of our spine, we got to make sure that everything's lined up as best as possible. So here's just a quick example of what it might look like when we displace our head. So forward head positioning is going to be the number one cause of lower neck disc compression issues. And forward head positioning overall is going to be the number one cause of biomechanic issues with our posture, generally speaking. So anyway, you got the forward head displacement that takes place here. Gravity pulls our head forward in time. Every day we eat the same way, we sleep the same way, we drive our car the same way, and we have these postural habits where over time we're programming our balance center of our brain to always put us back into this poor position, if you will. But I just want you to see in the video for this purpose how it affects lower down. So I might have forward head positioning where my head drives forward, right? And then it can cause this whole relational issue to take place where just from my head pulling forward, now all of a sudden I've got the wrong curve structure in the middle part of my back, which then displaces gravity down lower so that this disc right here takes on a greater compressive load. So hopefully you were able to see that. Here's the other page where you can see gravity center of my head being completely lined up with the center of my tailbone versus over here. Where was it? Versus over here, forward head displacement, putting my gravity now displaced down through behind my tailbone. And then I skipped over this one just to show you this is actually true forward head displacement. So forward head posture with no pelvic involvement, showing that the forward displacement now putting that center of gravity of my head weight all the way over here in front of where my tailbone is. So this entire area of my spine pretty much acts like one kinetic piece, which then creates a compressive load all the way down here in my low back, where all of my low back bones now take on a greater compression, but ultimately that T11 bone, T11 disc is going to have an anterior compression. So anyway, biomechanics become super key and super important. So one of the things that I should have already sent your way, or I will be sending your way, is a postural at-home evaluation. And it's an app that you go ahead, log into, put the code in, follow the instructions, and go ahead and submit those pictures back to me so we can do a free virtual augmented postural analysis. So we can see from the outside, without actually taking x-rays, what is your body doing for compensation right now for a normal postural state, so we can identify where the biomechanics might be awry.
So if you're interested in the Posture Screen app and getting a virtual assessment performed on your posture from the side, from the front view, as well as functional video assessment, we can do either a squat, a push-up, or a whole multitude of different functional assessments for the video. If you're interested in that, call our office, send us a text message, come on in, walk by the front desk, and let us know that you would like to do a posture assessment, a virtual posture assessment. There is an additional fee for that. It just depends on when you're seeing this video with inflation and everything else that's going on and what promos we currently have. But that's something we can certainly do for you. We can have you download the app, we'll walk you through it. I'll send you an invite link to our clinic. It's all HIPAA compliant, so You'll be able to take the pictures, do the assessment, and then we'll be able to send you the PDF result and analysis and walk you through that as well.